when I sat down to try to problem, I probably stared at it, material dollars, calculated selling where start, and actually level the answer key, and then figured out one piece of information on the other way. That was that showing what I'm guessing you have had the same job where you don't know how to answer it, and I even colored it the way the dollar fill it in to just show you start. What they do tell us here when manufacturing, they're asking what are the end to see how the material, in this case shell metal, obviously you have to calculate how much metal metal that take place in the selling ounce metal. First off, they give us in dollars, not pounds. They tell us a higher problem would be handy because you have each pound cost in dollars, something like that. It does matter in dollars. They tell us that. You've got to go ahead and kind of tear out this problem and find out what to do. They tell us that section to calculate maybe backwards to figure out a dollar amount. So two key pieces of information. One is that they tell us how much direct material we actually use in company now versus market area. They tell us that in dollar pounds. Then they tell us how many. That means manufacturing. That has to go ahead and you add this schedule case of manufacturing company. You can't just take the dollars and divide calculate in 2011. We know that within the year we spent $286,000 to get to a pound we had none. What they tell us is in the year beginning direct. They do tell us also that each company shell started operations we had the rattle to raw material. From here, the logical calculation. That means logically, and this is a very logical calculation, each one had none to start with metal, $2, and we have to figure out a piece of information to sell units, not dollars, with that metal that was consumed. So I created the we know, and I want another key. I simply have to say, started the obvious that we had to sell. Ended in that means everything we started in $40, and that tells me there's pound left, and that was converted into a finished good. We know that tells me the problem that the price doesn't go up. I had $100 too, so we can take this now left per pound and multiply it by the units. We simply know that at the end of the year, the balance sitting there and not purchased. Raw material, metal, should have $1 that now purchased. Tell us no inventory revenue $26,000. So this is actually very simple. If you know that each that tells us that average shelf is $4, approximately $5. Work backwards and divide a dollar again by 2. This is an average. You have the problem tells us selling price, and that's your answer. Again, stable $26. We didn't give dollars to have that much discount. Directly to that problem, they told us that this is the goods ending inventory. We will plug in $6,000. Here's the answer. It's 13,000 units. And the available materials, the materials available for sale, or actually to use, it shouldn't say for sale, to use in the manufacturing process is what we started with plus what we bought. So this is a fairly logical calculation here. Less, we subtract the ending inventory on December 31st, and again that came from the first part of this problem, to calculate the direct materials used. So direct materials used is how many I had available to use minus what I had left at the end of the year. So my direct materials used is 147,600, and this was a bit overkill what I showed you here, and this problem is fairly simple because they told us here, it got cut off a little bit, they told us the direct materials we used was 147,600. So yes, you could have actually plugged that in here. However, most problems we'll work through, at least later in the semester, don't have a zero starting position, which makes this more complicated. So anyways, that's where we get the 147,600. We have to calculate how much direct manufacturing labor we have. Let me get those back on the screen. Direct manufacturing labor was simply given to us at 38,400. So the goods manufactured is comprised of the material, the labor, and the overhead costs. We've got 2 of the 3 pieces. Now we have to plug in the overhead costs, and these are the 3 costs listed up here that are indirect in nature, can't be traced right to the product that we're making. So the plant energy costs, $2,000. My indirect manufacturing labor costs, now watch, I'm going to combine both of these, both the variable and the fixed, because for the purposes of the cost of goods sold, I don't really care if they're variable or fixed. They both go into the calculation. I do the same thing with the other indirect manufacturing costs. And so here are my overhead costs. I add all 3 of those together to get 60,000. So my total manufacturing costs incurred for the year are my material costs, my labor cost, and my overhead. So 246,000. And we'll get into this later in the semester as well, we got to take into consideration the work in process we've already had. And at the beginning of the year, we had no work in process because we just started this company. And so my total manufacturing costs that I need to account for are $246,600 or $246,000 even. My ending work in process, the problem also tells me, if you refer back to the problem, that there is nothing left in ending work in process. So this is a nice clean problem where I had $246,000 in my cost of goods manufactured. This number comes all the way up here into the cost of goods manufactured, 246. So the goods available for sale are what I started with, which was nothing, plus what I manufactured, which is 246. So my goods available for sale is 246. My ending finished goods inventory, we calculated that in the last video that we went through, and or actually the problem tells us it's $26,000. We calculated the units. And so my cost of goods sold is actually my goods available for sale minus my ending inventory. Cost of goods sold is 220. So my gross margin is my revenue minus my cost of goods sold. And then I peel out these, remember these are period costs. These operating costs here are listed here in the yellow. We ignored those before in our prior computations and the prior portions of the problem. My manufacturing and my marketing and distribution customer service costs are these two added together, which are both the variable and the fixed. And my administrative costs are this $56,000. So my total operating costs are going to be the two added together, $232,000. So my operating income is my gross margin minus my total operating costs. So my operating profit or my operating income is $142,000. So this, again, this process, you didn't necessarily have to go through this whole thing to get what we calculated here in this problem, but we're going to use this over and over this semester as we get into the latter parts of the text.